On today's episode of Watch JR Go, we are back with Ratvette, my 2000 Corvette. I got cheap, but rats tried to eat it. I mean, they tried to end it. What is going on, guys? I am Watch JR Go, and like I said, we are here today with my 2000 Corvette that we've named Ratvette because rats, mice, they got in there and they ate all of the wiring harness they could. We put an engine harness in it, we put an exhaust on it, it sounds great, it runs so well, it's got fresh fluids, but I took it out for the first few drives and realized a lot of lights are missing. The rats ate the light harnesses. Of course they did. What else would you expect? So we got to fix that. And the other thing, the TPMS doesn't work. And it's not just like the sensors. It has brand new sensors. They're coded for a Corvette. We have it all ready to go. The receiver doesn't work or is rusted out, or I mean, water gets down on the receivers in the C5 and it causes major issues. It's also the key fob receiver, that one big antenna system. It does it all. So today's mission, we're going to replace the entire front lighting harness. We're going to we'll see how much of the rear lighting harness. I don't know yet because I've got a complete replacement harness, but the only thing that's really bad in the back is the reverse lights. Those are where the rats got to work. They had like a perch they could sit on and eat these wires. We're talking about right here around the tag frame. I'm not sure if the tag lights work as well. They probably don't because I took them out, but you can see where the wires are chewed up. It's because the mice could sit on the styrofoam that supports the bumper here. And they probably just made a nest and got some food out of it, I guess, or nest pieces. So that is part of today's to-do list. We have all the parts here from J&J Auto Wrecking. Huge thank you to those guys. They just shipped them all when I said I needed them. And they even shipped me a new remote, and the remote went to the white car because I needed the white car to have a remote, and its remote didn't work. So I need another remote if you're watching this, J&J. Thank you, guys. Let's take a look at the parts. So here is the box of parts from J&J Auto Wrecking. This is the TPMS and key fob receiver right there. Has antennas coming out both sides. This is the complete front lighting harness that plugs in right here. Although that car might have fog lights. We might have to do a little adapting and just cut these and patch them into the existing harness on there. I just realized it's a fog light car. Then here's a remote with a brand new battery that doesn't work. This is the one that came in the white car. So now I've got its keyless working. This is the rear lighting harness, the entire thing. Tag lights, tail lights, reverse lights, all of it. It's all right here. And it all came in this box, so let's see if there's anything else in here that I need to take a look at. I'm gonna go with no. Just some peanuts. Guess what time it is? We haven't had this time in a while. I know it's everybody's favorite segment of the channel. It's called New Hood Struts Going On. This thing doesn't pop up when I hit the release button. It just kind of sits there. Hey, please stay there. So today, we're gonna fix it. There it goes. All right. Easiest job ever, of course. Hood struts. So cheap, world's biggest improvement. Let's see what happens now. Oh. It looks like it's already leaking. There's a lot of oil coming out of the cylinder. Not only is Ratvette getting a new hood strut today, so is, I was gonna say Wetvet. This is clearly not Wetvet. This thing didn't pop either. And this is, of course, my favoriteest of the Corvettes, the amazing ProCharge Z06. And unfortunately, it's still super hard to get the bottom of this out. You almost need a pick. That's my advice for this job. If you have a little pick, probably get under the clip a little easier and make this job bearable. There it goes. All right, and another one for this guy. This one fits tighter than those. Let's see what happens. All right. Hit the button, see if it opens up. Yeah, that's what my problem was with this car. I couldn't open the trunk anymore. Cool. So much better, look at that. And now we've got old Ratvette up on the lift, and it's time to try to figure out what went wrong or what we have to do to replace this front light harness. Like I said, I'm still concerned that we don't have a fog light harness. Maybe they're separate. I think I found where they connect. Passenger side right here, basically. The connector is mounted up on this piece of metal that is like the drag guard there for the front bumper. So we're gonna go ahead and get everything off the car. It's all just 7s, and yes, a lot of it is off and in the trunk, so there's really not too much more to take off. And then we can pull out the front insert here that gets us pretty close to the lights, and just keep on going. It still smells a little bit like rats up here under the front plastic. Nowhere else, but right here. This pile here just came out of one corner. This pile is coming out of the middle here. Oh, wow. Did they use this as like as an excavator at some point? Like, it just won't end. It just won't end. All I want to do is get to the light harness and I'm being attacked. Oh, this is the worst thing ever. That was a whole rat's nest. Come on. I don't know what else is holding this on here, but there's something in there still. Well, that, I think we took another 10 pounds out of this car just right there. Crazy. Hopefully I can see up in there now. I sure wish we could pull the whole bumper off, but it actually seems like that's a difficult task. I think we have enough access to get the wiring out of here. I just kind of pulled down the shield here, the shroud that guides the air up into the radiator, and I can see, oh man, can I see. Take a look at this. All of the wires for the lights are 8 through. See that? Just absolutely ruined. That ground's ruined. The red wire's chewed on. It is all absolutely ruined. Wow. Oh, yep. There's another stack of broken wires. Huh. Well, it's time to start replacing and see how far we get. Hopefully this fixes the whole car. I know the fog lights work. That's the crazy thing. Time to test out our new harness and see if this fixes our problems. I really hope it does. So, first of all, I'm just gonna go ahead and plug this in. Looks like it fits. And compare it to the old harness. We've got, what do we have here? 4 grounds on the back, 4 grounds, and on the front we have light blue. Oh no, I have it right. Light blue, dark blue, black. Cool. All right, everything's here. I'm gonna go ahead and climb up in the car and we're gonna do a test to make sure running lights work and the turn signals work and basically everything works. And also more trash is coming out of here and a whole lot of zip ties are coming out of here as well. Oh man, this has been patched together like 15 times. Look at this. There's butt crimps and failed solder. Oh, it's heat shrink. It's heat shrink that didn't get shrunk. And also the entire light harness was just zip tied on. It's almost like they fixed it and then rats ate it and then they tried to fix it again. It's just not going over well for this car. We're here to win. I play for keeps. All right, we're gonna start with the hazards. Let me know what you see.
Blinking.
Both of them? Oh, yes. Awesome. Okay, now I'll turn the car on.
Yeah.
All the little LEDs light up too? Or not, they're not LEDs. Yeah. Awesome, everything lit up. Okay, turn signals. The long one will be left.
Yep.
And right?
Yep.
Awesome, what an improvement. Well, shout out to J&J, this is gonna work again. Now the fog lights, I'm kind of worried now because I saw so many broken wires. It seems like one of them must be a fog light. There's even extra grounds where people have tried to fix this, running to random bolts up here close to the engine compartment. So I get to rip all that out and we'll have the correct wiring all installed without any, hopefully without any future problems. Back up we go, let's get this thing installed. This is definitely one of those harder jobs to show you guys what I'm doing because it's all buried up inside of here. But what I'm doing is trying to cut out all the old stuff which is factory. It's just taped. Half of it's split loom tubing and half of it's taped from the factory. Oh, there comes some more. And there's another zip tie right in here. Obviously the zip ties aren't factory, but there is our broken old harness. So let's check this out and see just how bad it is with all this rat damage. So right here, everything looks good. I thought all the damage was right here because this is where they've tried to add that ground. Here we go. Blue wire's broke. Mostly just the blue wire, actually. Black wire, ooh. Looks like we're missing a black and a brown right there. And then all these wires are broken right there. Some are soldered, some are like they were heat shrunk without really getting heat shrunk. They didn't bother putting the split loom back. Because I'd replaced all the bulbs. I bought all new ones. I just found all the receipts from O'Reilly's from when I bought these. So I'm gonna keep all these bulbs and the wires can go in the trash. Now that everything tested good, it's time to slide all of this into position. So this side will go up and over to the other side. All these wires are close to us and everything else will run along here. It'll all get zip tied up to that existing harness up there in the top. Like I said, all this stuff is mostly blind. You just twist them to get them in and out. And then you just put everything back. So, a great job. Honestly, pretty fun. Okay, so here is the turn signal. I think I've got it. And I'm gonna double check to make sure our fog lights still work.
Right side is.
No! No, it is broke. Huh. Well, that's interesting. They were both working. I guess we lift this thing back up and start patching together the fog lights. I'm probably just gonna pull in 2 new wires, solder, heat shrink, and just home run it all because too much of it's torn up to be in there troubleshooting. And we'll get it all back in the split loom, put it all back together. Hopefully this doesn't take long at all, but hey, it's just a positive and a negative, and I hope it's not a burnout bulb. I guess I should start with the meter. We'll go from there. Popping all the little fasteners off to hold this harness in, and I think everything's out of this harness. This is the harness with the fog light and the air pump. Obviously we deleted the air pump. Oh, this is the vacuum line for the air pump. I wondered what that was. I was like, man, it looks like a huge wire. Well, there's not even a check valve in here for the air pump, so that does nothing. It's probably actually a vacuum leak. A lot easier to put the meter on there with the wire stripped. Okay, hopefully this time you actually have 12 volts.
942.
I'll accept that, even though that battery's looking real dead. Wow. Let me see. Real dead. We need to get this thing started. All right, well, it hasn't been driven in forever. Well, luckily all of this is gone forever. We don't have to fix the air pump stuff. I'm gonna grab some fresh wire and we'll repair the fog light harness, get it all the way back in here and into the what's left of the split loom tubing. Then we can put all of this back and the front end will work again. The front end lives again. What a rebuild. This thing just keeps on giving. So we've got new wire patched in all the way over to this fog light. I heat shrinked and soldered in a length of new wire. Let's see if she works. Hey, there we go. We are back on track. All right, I need to get these turned off because it's literally killing the battery like crazy. Also, they repainted this bumper on the car and left the masking tape on the fog lights. And since everything's on, it's a great time to test everything else out. So you can see our running tail lamps are actually on right now. The tag lights do work, even though it's very dim. Here is the other reverse light. All I needed was the reverse light, and I couldn't buy this socket. I went to O'Reilly's to order it, and it was special order, and they tried to order it, and it doesn't exist. So I bought it on another website, the one with the large A, and it doesn't exist. It never came. I ended up canceling the order automatically after like 6 months of waiting for that socket. Crazy. So now we need to test out that brake light. I just want to make sure it works. I think the LEDs do, and all the others, and we'll do a quick test of turn signals and all that. And if that's all it needs, we'll just patch in that reverse light instead of changing the whole harness. It's cut no matter what. There's not a quick disconnect on the rear. They run straight inside, and the quick disconnect is like way down there. All right, right turn.
Left, yeah.
Left turn, that turn.
Yeah.
And
Hazards.
okay, and then the LEDs for the third brake light.
Yep.
Okay, and then reverse.
Yep, one of them's on.
Okay, just the one. All right, perfect. Well, let's get to putting this back together. We're just gonna strip these wires, grab the exact same one out of that harness right there, put the socket on it, same thing, solder heat shrink, make it nice and pretty, and then we can put the tag frame back on and all that good stuff. I have all these parts and we had to take them all off just to do this. Obviously we need to get our heat shrink on here first. So there's a couple pieces of that, our new bulb, and that impossible to buy housing. I tried really hard to get one of these, and boy, oh boy, it's some crazy bulb that's not what you'd expect. It's not like a 3157 or anything like that. It's actually just hard to get. I offset these so they wouldn't grind together and end up rubbing through their heat shrink. Definitely something to keep in mind when you're designing stuff that's going to be vibrated in the back of a car. Could end up wearing through itself. Milwaukee soldering iron, always the best way to do work, especially when you're mobile. I'd love to have the Milwaukee heat gun, and somehow I still don't have it. All these years later, every time I'm soldering, I'm like, boy, I wish I had the Milwaukee heat gun. I never buy it. And I probably never will. Now for the test. Let me throw it in reverse, Terry.
Yep.
Both of them?
Yep.
Yeah, buddy. Can't ask for more. Well, I pulled this whole tag frame and reverse light section out of the trunk because that's where I left it last time I worked on it, and I sure thought this was a 3157. It is definitely not, like I said, and it's also not any of the other normal bulbs that you find on a Corvette either. Like, why? Why'd you have to do that to us for the reverse, GM? It probably saved them like 2 pennies. I bet it saved them 2 pennies, and it sure made it harder to repair when you need to. I had tried bulbs, I had tried everything, but I sure didn't win. Can't even tell it's been repaired. We've got all this nice new electrical tape, that's about the only sign of it. All factory connectors, nothing wonky or anything like that. So all we have to do now is set this back in its hole, line up its holes. Oh, look at that, it's like self-aligning. Don't even have to do any work. Can't wait to finally wash this car. Just touching it brought more dirt back up off of the bumper onto the tag frame. And I just washed the tag frame. I just went and got it all cleaned up because I wanted it to be nice and pretty. All right. These are T15s, the tiny little bolts on here.
Yep.
Awesome. Look at this install. Hop up in here. Tell me this isn't a massive improvement. So now all the clips are back in, all the split loom is installed, all the wiring harnesses are mounted. So now I can start putting the front end back together, which is a chore. All that's left now is to hop inside and try to replace that keyless entry receiver and see if we can make that work again. Right now I get an error on the dash that just says no comms. So it could be a bad keyless entry receiver, and it could be bad wiring. I really hope it's the first one. It's now time to go in. We've sorted out basically every other wiring issue on this car. Now for the old RKE or whatever they call this one, the RMA or yeah, return merchandise authorization. I'm not good at doing this anymore. Okay, so this receiver should be up underneath here. This should just pop off. There's no fasteners. There we go. All right. Now, there it is. Ha-ha! Boy, that is cool. I'm glad that worked out like I was hoping. So this thing is really in there, which is a little tricky. I also just found the lift supports that lift up the convertible top when you do the open thing. Why won't it open? I figured it'd say like open trunk first. So you guys are coming on a mission inside the trunk with me. You can see the light there, and then you have to squish down and boom, that black box right there with the 2 plastic antennas coming out, that is the RKE. And to me, it almost looks like it's unplugged. So here's the rear speaker, if it's actually in there. Let me try to get this out. It looks like you just lift this tab. There's a wire out of it. Yep, there's a wire out of it. So this thing has 3 wires. I didn't need a new receiver. I just needed to fix the wires. Okay, so how's this thing come out? Looks like there's a pull tab. So there's our connector, and you can see the wire that came out, and it looks like that wire needs to be connected to this pin all the way over there. You can see that one's got a pin in it, and the others are all empties. And unfortunately, that's gonna have to be repinned because it pulled the wire out of the pin. So I'm gonna try to get a little bit of access to this wire, which doesn't seem easy. Carpet's coming out. Come on, girl. All right, there, we've got a little bit of room where I can work, and I'm gonna do what I can to repin this. So first off, unlock this connector and slide out the lock, and then slide out the pin, and then try to recrimp it. Well, we are stuck. Unfortunately, I don't have my depinning tools here. They're all at the house, and I need to get in there and slide out that pin. I got the lock out, which was tricky, but didn't break the lock, and now I'm ready to get the pins out, try to strip it, recrimp it, or I'll just put some solder in there and slide it back in, but unfortunately, I'm completely stuck without a way to get the pin out. And I tried, of course I have like the smallest screwdriver, and it wasn't enough to fit. It needs literally like a needle-sized pin. So I'm stuck. Everything else is fixed. Oh, let's get out of here. I have my weather pack pin removal tools, but I don't have the the everything tool that I need for this job, unfortunately. I've got one of those 6-in-1 ones, the little hexagon or whatever at home, and unfortunately that's what you need to depin that connector. Come on, GM, just use one connector for everything. Well, there's the answer for all the people that were commenting, where's the Ratvette? It's just been sitting right there in the background the whole time. Hasn't moved lately, but we got a ton done, sorted out a bunch of issues that I needed to drive it, and I just have one little pin left to replace to fix the keyless entry receiver. Who could have imagined that? I figured it would have been more chewed up wires. But nope, it was the RKE wasn't mounted properly as far as I know. It shouldn't be sliding around. It should have one push fastener holding it in. There were no push fasteners holding that thing in. So it's probably, somebody's been in there and that's how it got messed up, I would assume. So a lot of stuff fully sorted out though, the rear lights, the front lights, and I'm ready to go drive it. And as soon as we get the RKE working, the TPMS sensors will come back, which is a big deal. That's the whole reason we're fixing that. It'll take like 2 warnings off the dash, which is awesome. At least it was an adventure. I hope when you guys are working on your cars, you don't run into like pounds of rats' nests inside them too. It's always pretty nasty. Anyway, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop.watchjericho.com for cool shirts just like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I'll talk to you next time. I promise you this tool is made out of gold, and if I remember right, it was like $5 on Amazon or something like that. The old Delphi 12094429. It's this tiny little thing that lets you depin a ton of connectors, and that worked. The universal one didn't. So I got the failed pin out, and I was gonna try to save it, but instead I just grabbed a new connector and repinned the negative into that thing. We still have RFA no comm. It might be a dead module back there.